Hello, it's Burgess Taylor. I am doing the All About My Journals tag. The original tag was probably done a long time ago. I've seen several of them on YouTube, but the one that I'm doing is by the Journaltree, and there are 14 questions. I have her video linked below if you're interested in watching her video. It's great. She's an avid journaler. So the questions are as follows. Number one, how many journals do you own? I have owned probably over 100 during my lifetime, but um, right now I have in my possession probably 40 or 50 that are used. Some of them have only like a fourth of it used. If I find that I don't like the journal, I don't like it how it's set up, or if it starts to fall apart, or I don't like the paper, I will stop using it and go on to a new one. I don't like to journal in something that I'm not comfortable journaling in. When did you start keeping a journal? Number two, elementary school. My very first journal was one of those little dear diaries that come with a little lock and a little key. And I started writing in it probably in 1976 or 77. My father died during the spring of 1975, and that next year, I believe for Christmas, or the end of that year, for Christmas, I want to say, yeah, or for my birthday in 76, I got the little diary, and I started writing in it, and I wish I had that journal now, but I don't. I started writing it to deal with my father's death and the grief. I also was an avid reader, so that was kind of hit or miss though. I wrote during like spurts, and then by the time it was like 10 or 11, I was an avid journaler. I've had periods of time where I didn't write at all in a journal, and then where I wrote avidly, like every day, 2 and 3 pages, mostly, sometimes 10 pages, though, if I had a lot on my mind. Do you date your entries? And if so, how? I put the day of the week and the date. Like today is Wednesday, June the 10th, 2015. So that's what's at the top of my entry for today. How many different types of journals do you currently use? I have a Hobonichi, it's an A5. I have a Fobonichi, which is a 7C standard, and I love it. It's the same paper as the Hobonichi, but it's blank pages, and I use it to art journal. And I have a Miguel Ruiz that I kind of write in sometimes. I haven't decided what to use it as because I was using it as a Fobonichi, but I don't like the paper for art journaling because I don't want to glue my pages together. I did that in the beginning. I don't like how the watercolor makes it ripple and pill. I just don't like the paper for anything other than writing. It's the same kind of paper in composition books, and I used to use composition books when I only like wrote, when I didn't do anything else. But I have a ton of those I used as journals. And you can use it as like a little bit of a smash book journal. To me, you can put stickers and ephemera like pictures and stuff like that. But if you want to art journal, like with watercolor, which is what I use mostly, it's not really all that great. Unless you glue the pages together, and then it's fine, but I don't like doing that. I have a productive Luddite really big notebook that I use as my family journal. I have two different traveler's notebooks that I use for I use one as my writer's Bible or my writer's journal, and I have one that I write like personal stuff in. I don't really do any extra stuff in it except an occasional doodle here or there. And then I actually have inserts in my wallet, which is a passport size Janelli fish, and if I come across something that strikes my fancy, or that I want to save, or that I need to remember, anything like that, I'll write it down or I'll insert it into there, throw it in there, and then I go home and I transfer it into my journal. So I am currently using like 7 or 8 different journals. They all have a different purpose. Do you have a favorite journal brand? Now, if you'd asked me this 6 months ago, I would have probably told you the Moleskine or the something like that, Piccadilly, one of those kind of notebooks. I really like those for writing in, and I have noticed that a lot of people in the Fauxbonichi group actually use the Moleskine as their art journal, as their Fauxbonichi. I haven't tried one for that, like I haven't tried one with watercoloring. I may, but I love this 7C standard journal. I am wanting to order one with lines in it for my writer's journal to add into my Janelli Fish Writer's Bible, because I want to start illustrating, start art journaling, kind of mostly illustrating the outline for my novel, and have a different notebook for each novel in the series or for every novel I write. But I like that paper so much that that's what I want to use from now on. You can buy them at Nanami Paper right now. They're out of stock with most of them, especially the blank one. So I think they're supposed to come back into stock in September, I heard. Do you ever write outside or take your journal with you? All the time. I write outside. I take my journal with me. Like I said, if I don't actually have my journal with me, my wallet is a passport-sized traveler's notebook, and it has inserts in it, and I will write in it and then transfer it into my regular journal. And my favorite size journal is probably the A5. Do you keep an online journal? If you count my blog an online journal, then yes, I haven't really written in my blog lately, but I need to. So that would, in a way, be an online journal, but as far as like live journal or anything like that, no, I don't. I did for a short while, but I didn't really care for it. I like the pen and paper in hand journaling, and I love art journaling. How often do you journal? Every day, sometimes multiple times a day, because I use multiple journals. Do you record your dreams, and if so, how? If I have a dream that is vivid and I want to record it, want to remember it, if it seems to mean something to me, I will write it down in my regular personal everyday journal. I don't really do art journaling with my dreams. I just write them down. Do you prefer to write on lined pages? If it's something I'm going to do a lot of writing, yeah. Actually use a ruler sometimes to write with in my journals that don't have lines. And if I don't use a ruler, my handwriting tends to slant. So I use a fountain pen now, and I have 2 different kinds. Of one I draw with, it's waterproof ink, and I have one that I write with. And I like paper that is more geared towards taking fountain pen. So, and because I write with a fountain pen, I would like to have one with lines, but it makes it kind of hard to art journal when it has lines. So, I like grid. I like the dotted lines. I like the blank page most of all for art journaling, and I like line journaling for writing. Do you ever censor yourself? Yes, I do, especially if it's going to be for my journal that is for the Fauxbonichi group. I do. If I find myself writing something that's like more personal, I will just cover it with a post-it note before I take a picture of it. Do you ever name your journals? They have kind of names all on their own, like for their specific purpose. I had a journal, it was actually what I called in the beginning, it was like the relationship journal. When Mr. Rockstar and I first started getting serious, I included pictures and little bits and pieces of stuff from when we were dating, and then when we got engaged, and when we were planning our wedding, and what we remembered about like our first date and when we got engaged and things like that. It has pictures in it. It has a copy of like Valentine's Day cards, our wedding invitation, our program, that kind of thing. We both told our story back and forth, you know, in it. The journal itself is falling apart, so I'm probably going to either tape it back together or transfer it into another journal. I have, like I said, I have the Hobonichi and the Fobonichi, and a personal journal and stuff like that. I have a productive Luddite, really big notebook that is actually my family journal, and that's what I call it, the family journal. Do you have a reason? If you have a reason, explain why you started journaling. I said that already. I was going through a really rough time as a young kid after my father died, after he was killed in a car accident, and I needed to vent those feelings and deal with them. And I guess so that's what I used the journaling for, and it really helped. I think it was the writing and the journaling and the reading that kind of kept me from being completely overwhelmed, because losing a parent at such a young age was extremely traumatic. If you've been writing a long time, how has your style changed? Over the last 6 or 7 months, I've gone from being just more of like a junk journaler, smash book journaler, just putting ephemera in my journals and writing, to adding in artwork and all kinds of stuff. Now I actually draw. I'm back into doing art, and I absolutely love it. It has really helped me deal with things. It's helped my anxiety. It's helped my depression. It's helped me learn how to focus better with my ADHD. As far as like my actual style, that would be my handwriting's improved a lot too. I tend to try to write a lot in cursive when I'm actually doing like regular writing. And having a fountain pen, I wouldn't have thought I would have been a big fan of a fountain pen, because I tried them every like decade or so for like 25 or 30 years and didn't really care for them. But I have fallen in love with the Platinum Carbon fountain pen and the Platinum Preppy one with the medium nib, and I love the waterproof ink. So that's it. I have gone over all the questions, I believe. Journaling is something I will probably always do as a writer. I not only write story ideas, character stuff, I plot out my characters. I've seen YouTube videos where some writers actually do journals like from their characters, like from the point of view of their characters. And I've actually thought about that. And like I said, I've thought about illustrating the outlines for my novels, and I will probably be doing that pretty soon. I will be getting a journal for that to stick in my writer's Bible. And I may do quite a bit of, might do some of that where I actually write journal entries like from my characters, and that should be interesting and fun. So if you're interested in doing the all about my journals tag, check out the Journaltrees, and there are a lot of other videos about it. It's really fun. I love journaling, all the various aspects of it. As an amateur artist and a writer, it is just definitely my cup of coffee. So I will see you later. Thanks. Bye.